So in today's relaxation class, we're going to be focusing on the upper body. But we're going to first work on a seated pose, and you might like to sit up on your blanket or towel, whatever you're using. Sometimes elevating our seat a little bit helps our lower back feel a bit more comfortable. So you could choose to do that and then sit up nice and tall here. We're just going to move the shoulders around first. We're going to take some shoulder rolls, bringing them up by the ears, and then circling them down the back. So taking another one or two here, getting the shoulders up really high, like a big shoulder shrug, and then big circle down. We'll take one more, breathing in, lifting the shoulders. And then breathing out, shoulders rest down the back, and we'll keep them there. And then bring the right ear down toward the right shoulder. So we're going to hold this pose for a few moments. If it's comfortable, you might close your eyes. Breathing into the left side of the neck, that space from the top of the ear down through the side of the neck and bear out all the way to the tip of the upper arm bone. Notice if you've tipped the shoulders at all. Sometimes when we lower the ear, we want to lower that right shoulder too, but really we want to keep them perfectly balanced over the hips. If you'd like to add on here, you could take your right hand and bring your right hand over the head so that your right fingertips, maybe they just barely touch the top of the left ear. And we're not trying to pull the head down here, but instead create more of that length from the top of the ear down to the top of the shoulder. Taking just a moment here, a couple of deep breaths. So feeling the fullness of the inhale and the fullness of the exhale. And then if your right hand was by the left ear, we're going to move the right hand and bring it down by the right ear. So fingertips now just above the right ear. And then the right hand presses into the head to lift back to center. And then just bring your hand down, so back in a neutral seat. And notice if you feel different in the left side of the neck versus the right side. And you may or may not feel a difference. It doesn't really matter if you do or don't. But the idea here is that we're practicing paying attention to how the body feels. Noticing if that stretch had an effect on your body. And then we'll move to the other side. So first lowering the left ear down toward that left shoulder and starting to open the line through the right side of the neck. And as we hold this pose for a few moments, you might notice your eyes moving all around, even if your head is moving. So if that's happening, our eyes are a reflection of what's going on in our mind. And in yoga, we practice our mindfulness work here. And we can create a little bit more steadiness in our mind by finding a steady gaze. Looking at just one point on the floor that's not moving. And letting our eyes rest there so that we can really pay attention to how the body is feeling. you tried it on the first side, you might try it here too. We're going to bring the left hand over the head so that the left fingertips are just above the left ear. The left fingertips are just above the right ear. And if you try it and it's too much, let it go, especially if you have any head or neck injuries. You want to be very careful here. Breathing lots of space into the side of the neck. Staying with deep breaths helps us to create more of that inner space so that we can release tension and feel more open and clear. Let's take our final breath here. And then we'll bring the left hand over to the left side of the head. So fingertips just above the left ear. And then pressing into the left side of the head, bringing the head back to neutral, and then releasing the hand back down. And then pausing here, letting yourself feel and absorb these sensations. You might let your eyes close so that you can feel them a little bit deeper. And then from here, we'll float the eyes back open and we'll transition off of the blanket and come down to lay on our bellies. So turning over to lay down flat. We're going to bend both elbows out to the side and stack the backs of your hands so that one hand is resting on top of each other, or the other, and then your forehead just rests down on the backs of your hands. And if this feels like it's too low, you could make fists with your hands and then use the fist to elevate your forehead a little bit more. And so just breathing here for a moment, letting the back body release into the front body. And then letting the front body release down into the floor. Then we'll keep the left arm as it is and reach the right arm forward. So we're going to take the right palm to the floor. Your hand might be off your mat now. And then the right upper arm bone will be alongside the right ear. And we really want to press the right hand down here. So you feel some energy happening through the right arm, up into the right shoulder. Just depending on your body, your right elbow might be slightly lifted and the right forearm might be slightly lifted. Feeling that gentle activation in the right arm. Pressing the hand down and forward. So even those fingertips push down and away from your head. And with deep breaths, a few more rounds. And if your mind gets distracted, maybe you start thinking about what you're going to do today or what you're having for lunch. You just notice. It's like, oh, there I'm thinking. And come back into your breath. And we're going to start to bend the right elbow, bringing the right elbow down about in line with the right shoulder. So you have 90 degrees in your arm. And once you have those 90 degrees, walk your right hand about an inch or two forward. About an inch should be good. Then we're going to take the left hand and slide it back by the left side of the chest. So left hand is over kind of by the outer chest, outer ribs. And we're going to push into the left hand, bending the knees, and we roll over to the outside of the right hip, the right thigh, and the side of the head. Here, sometimes a blanket is helpful to place underneath your right ear so that your head can stay in line with the rest of your spine. Knees can be bent, and we want to keep the legs pretty relaxed here. But we push the right hand into the floor and get a big opening through the right chest. Notice if there's any tension that you can relax in your face. Maybe softening around the sides of the eyes, the corners of the mouth, maybe around the jaw, maybe even the tongue, letting the tongue float down away from the roof of the mouth. Taking about 5 more breaths here. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then we'll relax the pressure in the left hand and start to roll all the way back. The legs can straighten as you roll back to the left side of the belly, the left side of the chest. And then we'll stack both palms once again. And this time turn the head out toward the right. So you're looking out by your right elbow. Eyes can close. Left ear is turned down to the ground. Letting the floor hold your body here, so your body doesn't have to do work. And then we'll turn the head back into center. Take that same sequence on the second side. So now we reach the left arm forward. Left hand presses down into the floor. We're feeling that activation through the arm and shoulder. The forearm might be lifted. And then we can lower the forehead down to rest on the right hand, maybe the right fist here. Trying to keep the left shoulder away from the ear. So the shoulder is moving down the back. The shoulder blade is drawing down by the left ribs as we reach out long. And then we'll start to bend the left elbow, bringing it down to about 90 degrees. Elbow in line with the shoulder. And then once we have that, we take it slightly forward. So the fingertips move forward about 1 inch. And then we press the left hand down. Right hand steps over to the outside of the right chest. And then we bend the knees, pressing into the right hand. Head can rest on the blanket. You can adjust your pose here by how much you press into the right hand. So if it's too much, your right side of the body could be a little bit closer to the floor. That left arm stays just a little bit active. And then letting your mind relax into your breath. Feeling how the breath feels here. Maybe you've never made this shape in your body before. What can you discover and be curious about here? And then relax your press into the right hand so you start to roll back. Releasing all the way, we'll stack the backs of the hands. And this time turning the right ear down to the floor. Eyes look out by the left elbow and beyond. And we'll bring the head back into center, forehead to the backs of the hands. Just a brief moment here. And then we'll turn all the way over to lay on our backs. We'll lay down with bent knees. And bring our arms out to the sides. I'm actually going to give you a couple of options here. So your arms could stretch out to the side in a big wide T shape. You could take cactus arms with about 90 degrees or so in the elbows. Or to get into the chest and shoulders even more, you can take your arms overhead. You might hold on to your wrists or forearms or elbows if any of that is accessible. is full, so you can feel the belly move as you breathe. And this type of deep belly breathing helps us to relax more. We can actually change our energy and our energetic state by breathing consciously. And by using specific breath exercises. Full deep breaths into the belly create the relaxation response in the body. And then wherever your arms are, let them release, bringing the hands a little bit outside of the hips. Palms are turned up. Spending just a moment here so that the arms can release. And then from here, we'll roll over to one side. Press up to a seat. Come into your seat and just notice how you feel. You can close your eyes and maybe you feel some openness through the upper body. Maybe there's some greater circulation happening there. You might feel some energy. Take a moment to notice and feel. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, start to stretch out your arms, stretch out your legs, and mindfully transition back into your day.